Welcome to Better Odds Sports Betting. Here's our hosts, Kiev O'Neill and Kyle Hunter.
Welcome back to Better Odds Sports Betting. I'm your host, Kiev O'Neill, with my partner in crime, Kyle Hunter here, and we have a special guest, Mr. Raphael Esparza from Doc Sports, as well as mybookie.ag. Raphael, how the heck are you doing this massive weekend coming up?
Good. I'm excited. I'm actually excited for Saturday's card. The NFL card from Thursday's crap card from Amazon Prime should give me money, or at least give me free subscription so my wife can buy some more stuff on Amazon Prime. But just for the NFL card, you can throw in Buffalo, Kansas City, but the rest of the card is garbage.
I demand a discount immediately. The 2 Thursday games was brutal, and it's funny. You can't really feel sorry for Al Michaels and Herb Street, but I mean, them having to talk through it is just incredulous. And you could tell at the end of the game that they're kind of like looking at each other, not sure if they want to say it, but they decide not to. But there's just so much issues with Amazon Prime as it is. Like, I can't go to another channel. I can't rewind it. It's just like the big spinning circle. So I'm not a big fan. I understand that the NFL, though, thinks that it forces you to watch the advertisements. I'm guessing maybe that might be one of the angles, Raphael.
Garbage. Thank you for hockey. I mean, for last night, I had to watch Halloween Ends for the third time because I was grading prop bets. So thank you for at least giving me something else to watch besides that garbage show. And it just tells you on how mediocre sometimes these matchups in the NFL. There's really not that much parity in the NFL. There's a lot of garbage teams out there.
Oh my God, I can't wait to get into that. And yeah, there is NFL is certainly strange this year, but the good news is we have a massive college football slate. This is the best week of the year so far, by far. And that's why I'm so happy to be back here after missing last week on vacation to talk about some of this stuff. Huge games coming up. But Kyle, before we get into that, I'd like to just mention not a ton of weather this weekend, but this is the time, isn't it, where you kind of start wanting to look at that forecast as it gets colder and windier and rainier in some of these states.
Yeah, absolutely. Pretty windy here in Ohio today. If there were games being played today, it'd be pretty crazy. But yeah, there's some wind this weekend. We got about 14, 15 miles per hour wind in the Ohio-Michigan range for tomorrow. But nothing crazy, but that's going to change soon. We know that. There's going to be some weather games where the market is going to bet the under in a big way. And we've made money betting those unders in the past. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for those here in the near future as well.
Yeah, for sure. Raphael, do you factor in weather to your handicaps? I'm guessing you're looking at a lot of games.
Yeah, especially in college football. I mean, Big Ten, we'll put it on there, is the garbage time slot of the year. But sometimes that wind could be blowing at noon, and that wind coming off the lake, if you're close to Lake Michigan, like Michigan is, and stuff like that. I look at that, especially, and if the lake game, if you look at Hawaii, sometimes they get that downpour. If they can get a quick downpour early evening, that field could be also good because that drainage in Hawaii is not the best drainage in that stadium. So yeah, always looking at weather.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. Right in the beginning of the season when I'm firing on the openers, not so much looking at them, caring about line value. This time of year, before I even hit the openers, I at least try to see what's going on 6 days from now. I know it's not completely accurate, but it's definitely getting a lot more detrimental, coming in this year. But let's get into the slate here. And tonight we just have, I believe, 1 or 2 games. I just want to mention it's interesting seeing some Navy money come in against SMU. It's down to plus 12. The total's 57. It's kind of like what I said before. These armed forces, these teams, Army, Navy, Air Force, any of the option teams, they always start out really bad because it's hard to kind of get it together. But when they get rolling, they almost turn into a completely Jekyll and Hyde situation here. Much different. If you looked at this line week 1 or 2, I think SMU might be a 3-touchdown favorite. Now it's kind of creeping down. And I agree with that line movement, Kyle. Anything real quick on tonight?
Yeah, I haven't bet it very big, but I am going to bet something small here on Navy. I think this is a spot where SMU, we question, what's their motivation level, what's their team chemistry like? Everybody leaving to go to, sitting out this season. I don't like that kind of setup for SMU. They're 2-3, a team that really had high expectations. We know Navy's going to play hard. They're always up for the game. Navy lost to Delaware. I think that was week 1. And it's crazy, you get a team that loses a game like that, they can be undervalued later because everybody remembers how bad of a loss they had at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I think Navy has a shot here, getting plus 12.5, plus 12. I kind of like Navy here.
Raphael, anything tonight?
I agree, but hey, the Blue Hens only rushed the ball for 13 yards in that game, and they still beat Navy. I agree. The option, a lot of these kids, it takes clicking. You can run the option so beautiful in practice, but we're talking about practice, so I don't throw in it. Game time is always different on that one, but yeah, it's either plus 12.5 or no play for me. I don't have a play on this, but if I did have to throw Kiev's money in, even though his vacation, he's probably paying those vacation bills still right now, I would take a Navy plus to 12.5.
Well, that's fine. I'm okay with that, but don't throw my money in the UTSA FIU game, please.
No.
I mean, just seeing what happened at Temple last night and them just getting blasted out of the face of this earth probably put some more momentum behind UTSA here. And
Central Florida just scored just right now.
I think they did again. Yeah, I think I think it's almost, some of these teams can be so bad that it's hard to even handicap that. It's hard to move them that far down in your power rate. I mean, we get into negative 40 here. I mean, it's FIU and Temple. Colorado, a Power 5 team's getting down there as well. So these are kind of stay aways from me. And at the same time, do you want to be laying chalk with UTSA when they look like they're a great Power 5 number against one of these teams? Probably not.
No, this is one of those ones, just because of football games on TV doesn't mean you have to bet the football game on TV. So this is a game, even though I put a big X when the number came out, I don't care if this was minus 45, minus 50. I don't want nothing a part of this game. So like I said, I threw it aside. Maybe there's other games on the betting board that might have better value. Now, if I just want to sit back because the wife is gone and the kids are sleeping at a sleepover, then maybe I'll put $10 on it just for giggles, but no.
Team total for UTSA is the only way I would lean on that. But like you said, Raphael, one of those games that you might just want to stay away from. UTSA probably just wants to get through it and move on to the next week. Let's move on to a huge game this week because there's like 6 of them. Penn State versus Michigan. And Michigan is -7 here in some of the books. I'm going to show you the DraftKings book here. Total 50. This total keeps going down. So I'm going to be honest with you guys on this one. I took the under 51 early this week. And then when that thing went up to 52 and 52.5, I was wondering what the hell I was missing here. Okay. And it was a strange movement because you look at these teams, they're mostly about defense, right? Both teams are top 14 in defensive EPA. As far as tempo is concerned, Penn State is 79th and Michigan is 119th. Not worried about the speed of them getting the ball out. And then the under is 6-1 in the Wolverines' last 7 games, 5-1 in Penn State games after they score 20 points or less, like last game they played against Northwestern. The strength of schedule is terrible for both of these teams. I still like this under. I would take this under all the way down to 48. It's a multiple there. I had no idea why it went up, and it made me feel good. At least it's coming back down, and now it's below the number I bet. But Raph, I don't know if you or Kyle know about why this movement happened, And so maybe you have a little bit more insight for me.
I just think the betting public saw what Michigan did against Iowa. I mean, they put up what 27 points against Iowa's defense, which the punter is the only guy I know on Iowa's team because he's always on the field. But I think the bettors probably see that. Oh, I think I saw the last 7 meetings, 5 of them have gone over, so I'm sure Joe Public is going to see that. But I saw no wise guy action coming in on the over. With some of the books that I have back end accent in. But yeah, I agree with you on it's either under or no play for me on this game because it wouldn't shock me whoever wins this game. I think the number is perfect. If you like Michigan, why would you lay the 7? If you like Penn State, maybe it moves. Maybe you can get 7 even. But again, it's that horrible time slot. So you're not going to get that Saturday traffic money if this was an afternoon game and people are chasing in the morning. So it's either under or passing for me.
Kyle.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, the line move here to this point. As far as the side, I think Michigan, on the look-ahead line for last week was -10. And then Michigan didn't play very well at all against Indiana. So a big adjustment. I do think 7's about right, honestly. Penn State's secondary is elite. They're really good. I don't expect Michigan to throw the ball much here in this one for much success, but Blake Corum and company probably have some success running the football here. Michigan, like you said, Kiev, has played a lot slower now that they have a new offensive coordinator. So definitely something to adjust to there. 2 teams who have really good pass rush. I think both teams get to the quarterback very well. The difference is Michigan's offensive line is very good. Penn State, while they are improved on the offensive line, there's still a weakness. I think both of these coaches have done really well ATS-wise. Franklin's 74 and 56 ATS all-time, and Harbaugh's 71 and 60. Harbaugh's been a good second half coach when they have the lead. I don't know that this is a game where Michigan can get much distance. So Harbaugh likes to run the score up when he can. I just don't know that he'll be able to run the score up in this one. Penn State, both Penn State and Michigan, I think we should be fair and say they really haven't played a good schedule. I mean, you look at the 2 teams that Penn State at Auburn usually looks like a good win, but Auburn's not the team that they usually are. And Michigan, they're playing Colorado State and teams like that at the beginning of the season. So we really don't know who either of these teams are. I think this is kind of, as far as the side, I'd want to sit back and just learn for the future what we think about them as they step up in competition.
SEC trolls. Kyle's the one that made fun of Auburn. I know there's SEC. We're supposed to be kind. We're supposed to be kind to all SEC schools, no matter what. He's the one that said Auburn stinks, not me.
Kyle, for an Ohio State fan like Kyle, it's probably nice to watch this matchup here. It's like, screw these teams. But no, it's I think the red zone success is just so good. Penn State's defense is 9th in red zone success. Michigan's is 20th in red zone success. It just feels like this could be a game of field goals. Now, I'm hoping it's not as bad as Illinois versus Iowa or something like that people endured last week. There's some pretty low totals on some of these games this week. But I really like the under. I'm going to make it official. Take under 50. I like it all the way down to 48. Let's move on to the next game. We're looking at Tennessee against Alabama. Now, for some people, this is the best game of the weekend. I don't know. I mean, game day is going to be there, I believe. I'm kind of thinking USC versus Utah might be the best game of the weekend. But we'll just say this: Alabama Tennessee might have more to do with a future playoff, especially if USC can't run the table, of course. But I'm going to have Kyle start on this one to see if he has anything, because the line just moved, and I'm going to pull it up here from 7 to 8. So what do you have, Kyle?
There's some 9s out there just popping up now too.
Yeah, definitely. 9s at several shops now at this point. I think this is telling us that somebody thinks Bryce Young's going to play in this game. I did assume Bryce Young would play in this matchup. Now, the question is he 100%? Because it was his throwing shoulder, I believe. So this is not a great spot for Alabama. However, I kind of wish that Alabama would have blown out Texas A&M last week, so that then we would have gotten, Tennessee plus 11 or something like that here, because the fact that Alabama played so poorly last week, it feels like so many people are like, this is the spot Alabama loses. I'm a bit cautious about that because it feels so popular to say that at this point. Having said that, my number with a healthy Bryce Young was 8.5. I'm assuming he's not going to be 100% healthy, even if he does play here. And you guys know the drop off from him to Milroe, especially in the passing game, is a massive drop off. And that's really key here because Tennessee's secondary is their weakness. And Tennessee is very good against the run. They got to be able to throw the ball downfield, does Alabama, to have success here, to be able to keep up, because I do think Tennessee is going to score points. Hendon Hooker, that offense, really efficient. I think Tennessee is going to put up points. The question is, how many are they going to give up? Now, Tennessee has a lot of injuries. Their safety was in some legal trouble. I'm not sure if he's going to play here or not.
He is actually.
He is.
He's punished greatly for the UT Martin game. So,
what a punishment. Okay.
Yeah, he's never going to screw up again now that he's in the
Yes, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay. And Tillman has been injured as well. So Tennessee is definitely not 100% healthy themselves, but what a massive game for Tennessee. I feel like this is a bigger game for Tennessee than it is for Alabama, because Alabama could lose this game and still get to the playoffs, certainly. Tennessee, they need a game like this. They've lost so many years in a row to Alabama. I tend to want to bet Tennessee in this spot. And if the line keeps going up, maybe I will take a piece of Tennessee here. I see 9 at circa. Most books moving to at least 8.5 now at this point. The total at 65.5 or 66. If Bryce Young is at least somewhat healthy, I think that might be too low. I think these teams will score a lot of points here. But if it's Milroe, then I think that's a good game to bet an under on. So it's a bit tricky here because you really want to know who's playing and what kind of shape they're in. But if I had to take a side here, I would take Tennessee. Tennessee, to me, it's just such a big game. They have so much to prove. Up front, defensively, they're so good. And I don't think that Bryce Young will be at 100%, like I said. So I'm going to lean Tennessee's way in this one.
All right, Raphael, do you agree with Kyle leaning on the Tennessee side?
Yes, and I'm so glad Bryce Young's playing, because this number is probably going to go 9 solid, maybe some 9.5s out there, because I like Tennessee, because you know what Alabama doesn't like to play? Mobile quarterbacks. If Johnny Manziel can beat them, I think this quarterback from Tennessee could have a field day, both through his legs and with his arm. And I agree. Tennessee's weakness, their secondary. So Alabama, if they're healthy, they can score points. But can they keep up the points? How gassed out could that defense of Alabama on the road be in the fourth quarter? Because we know Tennessee's going to try to run 100 plays at home in this game. And those great jerseys are going to look nice in the end zone on Saturday. I'm going to take the plus points. I'm so happy that it was announced today, because I think Joe Public is going to continue to bet Alabama, tease Alabama with some other games on this slot, so I can maybe get a better number. I'm going to wait until the closest to kickoff to see if I can get 9.5 or higher.
Funny thing about this game too, it just feels like that trap sometimes.
Oh, it does, yeah.
But no, I'm on your side. I'm on both your sides.
Alabama wins by 100 at the end of the game, and we all look like fools.
Or it's like, would you be shocked? This is one of those that Saban could put the pedal to the metal if, and prove everybody wrong again. But I mean, look at all these weapons that they don't have anymore. You got guys like Waddle gone, Jamison, Jetty, just at Robinson, just amazing players. And their wide receiver crew is nothing like it was. I mean, Tennessee's weakness is against pass. You saw that against Florida. They're down a couple defensive backs, right? But Alabama's weakness is really passing the ball, only 8.1 yards per attempt, 57th or 54th in pass EPA. That's the issue. It's like, can Bryce Young get going after missing some time? Will he be a little bit rusty here in this game? We've seen Alabama screw up. I mean, when they played Texas, you have to remember that Quinn Ewers was out for over half of that game, and they still made it very close. And I will say Texas is a much different team than we're used to. Texas is amazing with Ewers right now, but still, they play Texas A&M. Could have lost that game. Texas A&M at the end had a chance to win that game, but it was the same story last year, even with some of that talent. Going to Florida, almost losing. Auburn going out of bounds when he should have went down. That game was over. That would have knocked him maybe out of the playoff. Who knows? And last year they lost to Texas A&M. So this is a spot, like Kyle said, is much bigger for Tennessee. And I do like Hendon Hooker's legs. I wish Tillman was playing, but they were able to put up some points without him anyway. Just the size of this game for Tennessee, I like it above 7 and above 7. I took it at 7.5. I assume Bryce Young was playing this whole time, and it feels like a sucker play. Do not get me wrong; it feels like that. But I'm going to keep going on my angles here, and my number is Alabama 6. So I agree with that. So I'll make it official. I'm taking Tennessee plus 7.5. But why not wait? Maybe you get a 9, right, Ralph?
Yeah, I would wait.
Kiev.
All right.
Quick question. Do you like Tennessee first half as well, or do you just like them full game only?
I would like first half just on what I said on the rust that could be with Bryce Young. So
Yeah.
Tennessee also has been getting off to a hot start every single game under Heupel.
Yeah, Heupel's covered about 70% of his games in the first half in his career. So he's been really good first half coach. +5 out there for Tennessee in the first half. I think that's a pretty good play too.
The scary thing, though, Kyle, is Alabama's first half numbers have been absolutely dominant over the years. So
you guys are both saying that, and I'm thinking, have you guys looked at Alabama's first half numbers?
Right. They got to be close to that too. Yeah.
I mean, that used to be one of my go-to bets until I guess recently. I probably should be betting it, but we've destroyed that one enough. Let's leave it alone. Let's go to this game that's really ignored, and it shouldn't be ignored because these are two really good teams this year, but they're being overshadowed by Alabama, Tennessee, Penn State, Michigan, and Utah, USC, really, and maybe Clemson, Florida State. Oklahoma versus TCU. TCU is laying 4 points at home. The total is 68.5, very high total. I'm going to let you start, Raphael, see if you have anything in this game.
It's not high enough. 68.5 is a low total. I thought this was going to be 70.5. I like the Horned Frogs. I've been very impressed with them all season long. I thought they were going to be a little bit tested more against TCU because TCU loves to play Texas Tech, and it's always a barn burner. But wow, they put up 41 points on that one. The number's perfect. I thought maybe TCU 3.5. It's now 4 right now. I matched with the number I made. But again, I think there's value on this total. We're going to see a lot of points scored on this one. I made it 70.5. I thought the books would put up 69 and get bet all the way up, but they put up 68. Got bet up to 68.5. I've seen 6-figure bets coming in on the over yesterday evening. Saw one this morning. So I think the total gets bet up. I would not be shocked if it closes much higher than what it is right now, just because of success. I mean, they put up 55 points, and I know Oklahoma's garbage this year, but it's still Oklahoma. They still have Oklahoma players over there. I thought that was very impressive. And then going to SMU on the road, putting up 42. I think there's value more on a total than the side itself.
Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to bet the under with somebody else's money. That's for sure. I mean, this is a scary game. If you want to bet an under, you don't want to watch this game, I don't think. TCU's offense has been fantastic. Max Duggan has been really good. This TCU offense is second in the country in explosiveness, 21 plays of 30 yards or more already this year. Horned Frogs been amazing. And the important point about this is some people think Oklahoma State and think great defense because that's what they had the last couple of years. They've really dropped off a lot defensively this year. Gave up a bunch of points against Central Michigan. I know they were way ahead in that game, but they also gave up a lot to Texas Tech. Texas Tech outgained them by quite a bit last week. And I think Oklahoma State in general might be a bit overrated. I think TCU would be the side I'd take here if I had to bet a side. Like Raphael said, I honestly wish that this line was 3 or 3.5 because 4 seems about right. But having said that, Oklahoma State just 3.48 yards per carry in their 2 Big 12 games on offense. The line ranks 81st in run blocking grade. So their offensive line has been holding them back. I think Oklahoma State does score points here in quite a big fashion because honestly, they're playing so fast that there's going to be a lot of possessions in this game. TCU is going to score quickly, big plays on offense. Mike Gundy has been great covering the spread in his career, just about exactly 60%. So betting against him in general has been a bit scary. He has won a lot more as a favorite against the spread as an underdog, just 52%. The one edge that really Oklahoma State has is special teams. Maybe that makes a big enough difference here, but I just don't think Oklahoma State defensively is nearly good enough. They're 94th in total EPA against the pass so far this year, 56th in yards per play allowed. This was a top 5 defense in the country the last couple of years, and here they've dropped off that much. Very different team. I would only bet the over if I had to bet a total, and I lean TCU as well.
Yeah, I looking at this total, I would have expected a lot higher too, Raph. And I think the odds makers set it low from the start just based upon the strange tempo that TCU has, ranking 95th at 27.7 seconds per snap. I think that's way higher in reality because, and I've done this with Maryland before and found, some value by doing this. You look at how these games go. If there's blowouts, then you have to understand that a lot of this data is a little off because they're slowing it down at the end of the game. Sonny Dykes, we all know, is a fast-paced coach. This is not 95 or 95th in the country when they're playing good teams or when they're playing close games. Oklahoma State sitting at 4th in tempo at 21 seconds is something you definitely got to key in. And Spencer Sanders has really surprised me for how good he is. So I'm going to tell you right now, I like the over 68 and 68 and a half, and I like it all the way up to 70. I don't think any of these defenses are real. You saw what Central Michigan did to Oklahoma State. You saw what some of their other matchups, they gave up some points. TCU, as a matter of fact, not looking so good either on defense. They let SMU score quite a few points. They let Kansas, on a backup quarterback last week, score a lot of points. But as far as the spread, I don't know if it's not high enough because TCU on a very comparable schedule, 67th and 65th on Sagarin for them, for each team, 1.77 net yards per play. 1.77 net yards per play is close to like a 10-point spread on a neutral field. Just if you're looking in general without other things. Also, are you looking at the advanced metrics? Oklahoma State's EPA, 53rd in EPA margin. I believe they're an undefeated team. That is extremely low, while TCU is 11th. So maybe the spread is too low. But what I am comfortable in giving out here is the over in this game. So we'll stick with that.
Well, keep an eye out for Oklahoma State's conditioning. They blew that cover against Central Michigan because their defense was gassed out. Their defense was gassed out last week with Texas Tech. And that's one bad thing about teams that put up points quickly. The defense doesn't get the rest because their offense is moving the ball quickly down the field and they're scoring. So keep an eye out for conditioning.
Yeah, for sure. Keep her out for conditioning. That was a 41-31 game last week. So the conditioning really kicks in the second half too. So, when I like to sometimes look at unders, I like to look at the first half in case they start gassing off. So just my thoughts on that one. Well, we have a few minutes to do NFL before we get into our most likely dog to win outright. So let's get into the Sunday night game. I believe Dallas is traveling to Philly, and that's going to be the spread's interesting. It's went up a little bit towards Philadelphia, and I'll put this on my screen here. The number is 6.5 still in DraftKings, minus 6.5. Total is 42. Pretty low total to be laying points here. Kyle, I'll let you get started on the Sunday night special.
Yeah, Dallas's defense has been so good. You have to give the new defensive coordinator a ton of credit. I think they're really well coached on that side. Dallas has been able to take advantage of the fact that they've played a lot of weak offensive lines. If you look at their schedule, who's the good offensive line that they've played so far? They take advantage of offensive lines like the Bengals, the Rams haven't been very good on the offensive line. Now they go up against the Eagles, who probably have the best offensive line in the NFL, at least top 3. The question is, Cooper Rush, is he good enough against a good team? Cooper Rush has kind of proven me wrong. I didn't think he was that good of a backup when he first came in, and he's played very well. However, last week against the Rams, they really didn't do anything on offense. That was a Dallas game that was won by the defense and special teams. I think here 6.5 is getting too high for me to want to bet the Eagles, but I'm a bit cautious of wanting to bet the Cowboys in a spot where I think they're really stepping up in competition. My strongest lean in this game is probably the under. I think the Eagles run a lot here in this game. Dallas doesn't want to play very fast, I wouldn't think, in a game like this. Cooper Rush, I don't think he'll have a lot of success against the Eagles. Like I said, I've been wrong before about Cooper Rush, so maybe I'll be wrong here too. I don't think I'm going to bet this game, guys, so I hope you guys have something stronger, but I'll just say a lean to the under for me.
Raphael, you have anything strong for us, buddy?
I did make some prop bets on this one. What would happen first? Cooper Rush loses the game, or Cooper Rush throws an interception in the game? Because he hasn't thrown one all year yet. I lean towards the Cowboys because that defense is just so impressive. I mean, we're all talking about the 49ers defense. But this Cowboy defense is the reason why they're winning games. They're just telling Cooper Rush, just don't lose the game. Just don't do any horrible turnovers. Throw a pick here. If there's nothing there, throw it out of bounds or throw it to the running back or whatever. Just don't do anything stupid because they're winning games on D. My twin brother, huge Cowboy fan, called off work already for this game, so he's going to sit back and watch it. So I'm going to try to give him good vibes. I'm hoping and praying to the gambling gods that it moves to 7. If Joe Public moves it to, if it goes to 7, I think I'm jumping all over the boys. But as of right now, it's a pass for me. But again, I'm praying that it does go to +7. This defense, fun to watch. And I'm not saying the 49ers defense is not fun to watch either, but who would have thought the Dallas D would be winning games? I didn't think that coming into the season.
That's right. I remember like the Bengals being 7.5, 8 points after they lost Dak. I had to play the Cowboys there. And then I'm like, this would be interesting. I bet you a lot of people are on Cincinnati for their survivors. And I'm like, wait a second. I could see Cincinnati losing. They lose this game. It was just insane. And then all of a sudden the Cowboys rip like 3 in a row. And I'd like to say maybe it's McCarthy, but I know better than that. I don't think he's this great coach or anything. And I think it's Cooper Rush not turning the ball over for sure. And this defense ranks one of the top in opponent yards per point, 21.6. That's very efficient. But here's my issue here. Raph, how good are the Rams? Above average, average, or below right now?
Below. I mean, their quarterback needs Tommy John surgery or something because his passes are just not snap. They have no snap in it. It's nothing. It looks like Drew Brees in his 40s out there throwing passes. So I'm going to say below average right now. And OBJ is not going to fix the Rams, people.
I believe the Rams are 26th in DVOA. They're lower than average on my rankings now, and I have a good sample size. I have 5 weeks. I mean, what am I supposed to do here? I can't keep using last year's numbers. So the Cowboys beat a bad Rams team with a terrible offensive line. Not only did guys retire last year, they have tons of guys injured. I mean, so would it be shocked if the Eagles beat them up? No. My pure number has this a 4-point spread, though. So I'm with you, Ralph, here. If it gets to 7, it's probably a play. I think it's smart to dumb the game down, pound the ball. The Eagles have been known to take off the gas pedal in the second half, and Jacksonville should have beaten them if it wasn't for Lawrence's 4 fumbles that all of them were turned over. That was just absolutely despicable on the Jaguars' point. But, the Eagles have been great in the first half. I'm not going to touch the Cowboys in the first half or anything, but I'm going to lean them. And Kyle, is that do you have agreement with that?
Yeah, I mean, I slightly in that way, just nothing too strong for me.
Okay, let's move on to the Monday night game. And then we have the Denver Broncos facing the LA Chargers. Now, the Chargers are about 4.5 points, and the total of this game is 45.5, kind of right there in the middle here. It's one of those lines where the lines makers are like, you guys decide, are you going to push it up or push it down? A lot of totals have been hit lower this year, which is funny because the whole narrative before the season was like illegal contact. We thought they might drive it up, but that was wrong. But, I mean, this has came down a little bit, but Denver's very, very injured. Kyle, what are your thoughts on this one?
I was kind of hoping you were going to call the audible and we were going to talk about the Bills and Chiefs instead of this one.
I wish we were, my man, but
No, I mean, I think I kind of like the over here. Denver's offense has to be at least somewhat better than what they've shown. At least I think at some point, what Russell Wilson just so bad. The Chargers offense, I think, is going to be able to score on most teams that they play this year. 45.5, pretty low. I don't like a side very much here. Like I said, I think the total may be a bit too low. Herbert has looked pretty good. Honestly, the Chargers losing that game last week to the Browns, winning that game the way that they did, trying to give the game to the Browns with going forward on their inside was just a crazy game. I think 4.5 is about right on the side. Like I say, I think 45.5 is a bit too low for a Chargers game total. So I'll take the over here.
All right. I know Raf's got to go soon, so I'm just going to say Broncos 10 days to prepare. I know they're banged up. Russell Wilson seems to keep these games close, as I really like the Broncos defense here. I'm going to lean taking the points here with the Broncos at 4.5. I also don't buy the Chargers having a good home field advantage. Matter of fact, I'd rather bet the Chargers on the road, Raf.
I want nothing to do. Russell Wilson's the most overrated quarterback on a roster right now. I didn't think he was creme of the creme when he went to Denver. He hasn't had a good season since he played for the Badgers. The only reason why we still talk about him because his wife is hot. But yeah, I want nothing to do with the Denver Broncos. The reason why, I think I was on your show, my Super Bowl pick was the Chargers. So I can't bash them and say, oh, give me Denver, give me Denver. I have Chargers winning the Super Bowl. So Russell Wilson, overrated. I think he's on one of my fantasy teams. I don't even look. I don't even know how to set it up. But give me the Chargers. I'll take the 4.5. But I do like the over, though, too. So I do agree with Kyle.
All right. Well, hey, it's why we still talk about A.J. McCarron is probably because of his wife as well. So let's get into our dog most likely to win. And I'm going to tell you right now, this was tough for me because it's just such a crazy week. And I'm just going to go with one that I see them winning or losing by a lot, and that's Florida State. It's around plus 145 to 150 right now. It's just a situation where their stats are better than Clemson, except for red zone stuff. And let's see if they can get over the hump. They know that they blew it last week. They should have beat NC State. NC State was blowing it too in a lot of ways. But, Florida State has been better and better. I'm not a big buyer in Uiagalelei. I don't think he's all that good of a quarterback. And I think that Clemson's been getting by a little bit with smoke and mirrors. I know Clemson's defense is very legit, but this is in Florida State. So I just think, at plus 145, I'm going to take it. I'm not even going to touch the spread in this. I'm either going to take the L for the loss because I really believe Clemson's either going to beat them by a lot or nothing. Raph?
In honor of Bruce Sutter, who passed away today, I was going to maybe look at Old Dominion plus 11.5, but that was just way too many points for me, even though Bruce Sutter did pitch for the Cardinals, but I still recognize him as a Cub. I'm going to take the New York Giants plus the 6 as my dog, just because when are we going to talk Barkley some MVP odds? It's give the running back some love. Not only is he probably going to win maybe comeback player of the year if he continues to stay healthy, give him some MVP love. He's playing quarterback, playing a Wildcat, and having success. I'm not sold on Baltimore. I wasn't sold on Baltimore this year at all. I just think maybe the contract talks with Lamar might be pressuring him all season long. I'm not sold on Baltimore. I like the Giants because of their run game, because of what they have been able to do with Barkley. And all what matters is winning, because the defense is playing much better because you're winning games. I bet you the locker room probably much improved because you're winning games. I like the Giants plus the points.
Throw Dayball for Coach of the Year if that happens as well, because that's a fantastic job he's doing there. This is one game that's bugging me. I'm not gonna lie, it's bugging me. This 5.5 is just, it's trying to give me the vibe that people are unsure of the Ravens, and I've been unsure of the Ravens since they started. But they do get Tyus Bowser and a couple linebackers back, so you wonder if this is finally that game that the Ravens put the gas pedal down. But I love the play. It's at plus 205 right now. Kyle.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick here. I like NC State against Syracuse here from my money line underdog. I think NC State is such better on defense than what Syracuse has been playing. And you remember Syracuse against Virginia tried to give that game away. Virginia, if they were good at all, would have won that game. I don't trust Garrett Trader. I think Syracuse is a good defense. Their offense, I don't trust. NC State, tremendous defensively. I know they don't have Devin Leary, but Leary really hadn't been playing very good anyways. So I'm going to take NC State here in this game against Syracuse, thinking that they can pull the outright upset.
All right, great stuff. Kyle, where can our viewers get your information?
You can find all my work at huntersportspicks.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at KyleHunterPicks. Sign up for my free picks newsletter there at the top of the page on huntersportspicks.com.
Ref?
Find me at docsports.com. You can find me on Twitter at VSI.sports. You can find me on Instagram at Raphael Esparza. You can find all my crazy odds over at MyBookie and other sites as well. Pretty soon, November 1st, I can announce those sites where you can be finding all my other crazy prop bets. But should be fun. Fun time of football world. NBA drops on Wednesday. Can't believe when a sport needs to end before a sport begins in my world.
Crazy world for Raph. Love the props. Make sure you guys check him out. Check us out, theoddsbreakers.com. Plenty of free picks, more information every single day at theoddsbreakers.com. Also follow us on our Telegram channel, where we also give free picks that are immediate from when we make the play. My friends, thank you so much for watching this show. Have a great rest of your weekend. Go get some winners.
Thank you for watching Better Odds Sports Betting.